the horizon you pick is very subjective to both the individual and the intensity of the environment. In other words, you're going up the hill, a steep hill, your horizon is going to be really close, right? Or if I'm freezing the surf zone, my horizon might be I'm going to just count 5 waves, or it might be I'm going to wait till the next meal. Okay, what we have to understand is when we pick horizons, we're literally manipulating our own dopamine system, and dopamine, as we know, often has historically been described as a reward chemical. It's in fact a motivation chemical. But dopamine actually gets us up and moving in the morning. They actually did an experiment with rats. They had a rat in a cage, and next to the rat was a lever that the rat would just push down, and a tasty pellet would appear. Right. And so, of course, the rat just stand next to that lever and just push it and get pellet after pellet. And even when they moved the rat to the other side of the cage, the rat would run over and push that thing. Okay. But then what they did is they removed the dopamine from the rat. Okay. You can do that chemically. And they moved the rat just a rat's length away from that lever. The rat never moved. Okay. The rat would have actually sat there and starved if they let it. They didn't let it starve, right? But it would have sat there and starved. So what they recognize is that dopamine is actually what gets us up and moving in the conduct of a goal. And when we pick a horizon, what we're doing is we're actually setting a dopamine set point that allows us to get there. Why does this matter? It's because if we pick a horizon that's too far, too long, we are going to run out of dopamine before we get there, and we will quit. Okay. Every time we quit, it's because we've run out of dopamine. All right. If we pick a horizon that's too short, we won't register enough of a reward that will motivate us to pick another one. It won't feel as good. Okay. So we have to constantly modulate these horizons. And now the good news is you can do this real time. And I'm sure you've done this on the bike. Okay. Just like anybody who's lifted weights in the gym. You say to yourself on the bike, "Oh, I'm aiming for that tree," and then halfway there, you're like, "Oh shoot, you know, okay, I better aim for that rock." You've just pulled in your horizon. Same thing with someone lifting weights. I'm going to do 12 reps. And at 8, you're like, okay, just 4 more. Okay. You've just moved your horizon. So you're constantly manipulating your dopamine reward system. And if obviously if you pick something too short, you're like, well, I didn't feel anything. I got to pick something longer. So this is a great example. And I'm glad you brought that up. This technique of moving horizons, first of all humans do it. And second of all, it's something we can practice in everyday life. I mean, you don't have to be in uncertainty, challenge, and stress. I mean, in the bike, there's not a lot of uncertainty there, but you're certainly in challenge and stress. Okay, you can do it in the office though. You can say, you know what, I'm gonna just focus on this email right now. I'm gonna spend 5 minutes, and that's all I'm gonna do. Okay, you can practice this stuff in real life, so that when the environment becomes chaotic, you actually begin to do it automatically, and that's the real secret.